Hello, and welcome to my first social media mastery workshop via Zoom. I'm really looking forward to this session with you guys. I struggle myself with trying to keep on top of how our customers use technology and how, as a business, we can we can keep up with them, because they're the ones leading the leading the storm, I suppose you could say. So if I could ask that everyone has their speaker on mute for the time being, just so that we don't get interference from for the other people in the workshop. I'm just sort of quick note on my social media mastery page, so I'm going to just quickly double check that, give people a little bit of time to jump online. We've got some good numbers here, so which is awesome as well. And if we just wait 1 minute, if you can stay with me, go and grab your lunch, a cup of tea maybe, we'll get started in just a minute. All right. Okay, let me just make sure it's all set up properly. There is a chat window also for those who have questions along the way. Please feel free to do that. Send me any questions. I've got a lot of content, and I'm a bit worried I might have too much content to cover today as well, but we'll just see how we go managing all that. All right. Okay. I might just change this setup a bit. All right. So a little bit about me before we start. I have a keen interest in the media and how it works. I love the internet and technology. And then I have a bit of a sociology interest as well. So how we all engage and communicate, basically. So that's why I call myself the digital sociologist now, and I am working on a research project with QUT. And I'm on social media and sociology and influence, and how we can teach or educate our youth around positive use of social media for their personal brand and creating influence, if that's something that they want to achieve. So that's a little bit about me. My mission, I have a little bit of a mission that I've had since 2010, when I saw social media as a tool for communicating, and that is to create safe, supportive and structured social communities online. It's so important to understand the intricacies of digital media, because it's impacting every one of us, not just me as a researcher, but every one of us has to understand that, how we can stay connected in our community, and that, whether we like it or not, is how it's going to be, and it's going to continue to get more complicated and stressful. But I want to take the stress out of it. So let's just see how we go with doing that. All right. So today we are going to talk about, and I've skipped ahead, I have 5 secrets to keeping connected with our customers. So customer engagement, customer acquisition, keeping just let me know. I just had a little notification that my internet is unstable. So just let me know if you're having trouble in the chat window with hearing me, or any difficulties. That would be great. I'll just shut some of my internet browser windows as well. So back to it. I've got 5 secrets, I suppose you could call them, to staying engaged with our customer. And they, let me just, why did that disappear? They're really easy. They're really easy tips to, if you can get them all aligned, to keep you ahead and managing that customer journey from when they're just considering you right through to creating advocacy, but also then keeping them as a customer, because losing customers and getting new customers is quite an expensive journey. So if we can keep those customers, all the better for our businesses. So this is a very business orientated customer journey workshop. And I hope you've got a pen and paper handy, because we've got some practical tips along the way. So I see some names in the list that I have not connected with you for a long time. So thank you for coming along and supporting this workshop. So, all right, now my first tip, strategy. All right, so creating a strategy does not have to be complicated. It can be as basic as just looking at some aims and objectives, remembering our SMART goal system. So you want to make sure that you have put in some parameters around what you want out of social media. Okay, why are you even on social media? How are you going to get a return on that investment of money? Because we do need to advertise now, spend money on Facebook advertising, but also your time, valuing the time that you put into your social media. So creating a basic strategy to start with, use it as a evolving document. Okay, it's not, and Google Docs is amazing for that. It's you can use that as a document collaboration tool as well. So let me know if you use Google Docs, because I think it's the best thing around at the moment, or the whole Google Suite actually, in fact. So, but we'll talk about that another day. Maybe that's another workshop actually. So, audience buying behaviour. So this is where you put a bit of a profile together. Again, it doesn't need to be complicated. It's just a section that will be in your strategy, and you'll just to understand the kind of information that your buyer will need before they actually buy. So what that means is looking at their fears or triggers before they actually come to your website or wanting your product, and then knowing that they're not going to buy straight away. I mean, if you've been in marketing or communications, you know that there's a few steps that it takes for a customer to feel comfortable and trust your brand. So understanding that buying journey and what information your customer needs, I mean, you can set it up so easily in digital and make it work for you. Understanding what you're going to use, what tools you're going to use for your social media. I'm actually telling my customers at the moment, my clients, to just keep it limited to 3 digital channels, particularly if you're a small business and trying to manage social media as a second part of your job, which is 90% of small business. Just pick 3 channels. So if you're retail, like, this is not a one size fits all, but it's a bit of an idea to help you. So if you're a retail, small purchase items, think of just Facebook, Instagram, and Google. Google My Business, it is now. And that's a whole nother discussion as well, that we don't use Google Plus now, we use Google My Business. And that's a little unknown secret as well. So if you haven't already Googled Google My Business, do it now, and make sure you've got a Google My Business set up for your business. If you're more of a B2B business, replace Instagram with LinkedIn. That's kind of where we're at with social media at the moment. And make sure that you're using those channels to the best of their ability, rather than trying to be on all the platforms and trying to do everything. Create an action plan. So you can't do everything at once, like I just said. So the way to get around that and not feel overwhelmed by social media is to create an action plan. Simple spreadsheet. I teach this in Social Media Mastery, actually, that, by creating and allocating different tasks. So you might have a campaign coming up that you need a video done, and you don't have video editing skills. So there's places out there that you can outsource that to. Create KPIs. And this is where your boss will love you. Like, they want to know why are they even on social media. So give yourself KPIs. If you hit those KPIs, talk to the boss and say, look at what's going on here. We've increased our leads by 10 per month because of the work I'm doing on social media. But if you don't have that data, you can't have that to justify your social media activity. So ensure that you've got a table, again, where you're evaluating and measuring your online social media activity. Those KPIs will be driven by your objectives. So this is why it's so important to set those aims and objectives in the beginning. They are what will drive your measurements and what data you need to look at. So KPIs, people. All right. The next tip. All right. This is in the strategy I talked about understanding your buyer's behaviour, but this takes it to another level, and we talk about psychographics with this as well. There's a great little tool by HubSpot, free, pardon me, and the link's here. HubSpot. Well, actually, just Google make my persona and it'll come up, and you can create a persona for your buyer and also for yourself. So what it does, it helps you create a personality for your online brand. So it makes it easier to engage and communicate. So if you've got, that'll drive the images that you use, the content that you choose. Are you going to go for a more professional persona, or are you going to go for a more creative, fun persona that's still professional, or are you going to be a bogan? That works for some people too. So by creating a persona for both your buyer and yourself, you can start seeing how those two people would engage. And that's how you start thinking about the topics you talk about, you'll understand more about what kind of information they need to actually buy from you. How you put your content together, what tools do you actually engage on, all those types of things. So jump on that. That's a really great way to start building your persona and your buyer's persona as well. All right. So don't forget though, in the chat, there's a chat window in Zoom. Hopefully you guys can see it and found it okay. Jump on there and throw in any questions, and I'll come back to those as I can. But the next tip is, which I haven't put the numbers on, continuous improvement. it's something that's been around for a long time in operations for businesses, and it's something that has been in some sort of form in marketing and communications, but it needs to be more formalised with social media, and it can be more formalised because of the amount of data that you have access to. The continuous improvement part of this workshop will be you just basically jumping on. If you use Google Calendar, or any calendar really, just jump on and allocate once every 3 months. I recommend 3 months, 6 months. Allocate an hour to review all of your social media platforms, particularly the About section. This is always a trick. People who have access to your Facebook page or social media channels, so that you've set up to help with doing a campaign or to look at the data or some aspect of it, who still has access to that, and who should no longer, maybe they've left the company. So that's a really important part of continuous improvement as well. So looking at your About section, so just to revise that, looking at your About section, but also looking at who has access to your social media. Then looking at your data in more depth, looking at what content your customers are engaging with, and understanding, not from like it was a video or a photo, but more from a content point of view, and just creating more of that kind of content. It'll start giving you an understanding of what their needs and interests are. The best way to do that is look at the people who engage the most on your social media and go to their profiles. Most of them have a lot of information there, just there open to the public. So, don't be scared to do a bit of stalking of your customers. Have a look at the content that they share, and that'll give you a good idea of what their ego, what's driven, how they want to represent themselves online. And maybe if you create some content that is similar to what they've got, they might want to share on their Facebook page, and that starts, or even just they'll definitely start liking it if they see it and all that sort of stuff. So stalking is a good part of that. Okay, so what are the ways in which your company's business processes can serve those customers better? So then you can start looking at your customer service processes as well, through your continuous improvement strategies. How have you engaged with them socially? How can you, better that, get more engagement online? All right, so hi, Nicola. Thank you. Thanks for popping on today, and your question. So you've got, how would you measure hashtag success in Instagram Insights? Okay, so hashtags is a whole beast in itself. There's a couple of tools that you can use to manage your hashtags. I'm using Sprout Social to look at that, and rather than, I don't think Instagram Insights are powerful enough to give you that data. So but yeah, look at something, RightTag as well, RITETAG. There's a few tools out there that can help with hashtags, but definitely Insights don't support that type of information. All right, so what have we covered so far? We have covered creating a strategy, create a digital persona, add a continuous improvement strategy to your work tasks, and that leads me to time management. You need to be super, super efficient with your time. So, and that's why I actually, as part of the first section of Social Media Mastery, is we talk about time management, because you can go down some really, really deep rabbit holes, and unless you are aware of what rabbit hole you're going down, aware of time, you're going to be trapped. So what have I got here? One of the most effective ways to improve your time management is to create and use what's called a default diary. So a default diary, I've got an example actually. So a default diary is when you just have a week planned out and you have a look at all the tasks that you need to complete, and you allocate time. So you don't use this as your calendar in regards to every week it's going to be the same. This is why they call it a default diary, is when you don't have other things on, you default to this task. So as you can see here in this example, they've got the time down the side. So just again, you can actually add this into your calendar or use it as a spreadsheet. Create a spreadsheet specifically for your default diary. So days of the week, time down the side, and allocating, Monday mornings I'm going to review all my Facebook accounts, Tuesday mornings I'm going to do my LinkedIn, etc., etc., etc. So depending on particularly for those who social media is the second priority in their role at work, or you're a small business and you have to do everything. It depends what this calendar will cover, but include your lunch breaks, and that way you can start seeing when you're doing too much, trying to cover too much, and you're just setting yourself up to fail. So spend some time there thinking about when you've got a clear week, how you're going to manage your time. And I've got allocate time for education. This is so important. If you want to keep up with your customers, you need to keep on top of the new ways that they're using social media. Playing around with tools even. That's part of education, looking at the new stickers and things that they have on Instagram stories, or watching Linda videos, or there's a myriad of online information channels out there. So allocating time to education is essential. Okay, so that's our default diary. All right. And the last tip, understanding trends versus fads. All right. A great example of a trend is Pokemon Go. Do you remember, all the kids were playing it. It lasted a month. That was a fad. It was it was adopted. The adoption rate in the first few days was astronomical, and it just was amazing, but it's only lasted, a month or two. Understanding a trend and a fad. So a fad has a peak, really quick peak, and drops off, but a trend is where things slowly get taken up, and then it tends to be, have a longevity about it. So, whereas something like Facebook is more than a trend, it's actually now a cultural asset. So we need to look at what trends are happening in social media, like Instagram stories, definite trend. Instagram TV, I really think it is going to be a trend, but the adoption rate is a little bit slow, so I don't even know if it's going to even be something. But yeah, keep your eye on that one. So trends versus fads. Use that knowledge to keep profitable customers for life, because they can see that you're investing in what is going on online. And that if you understand the trends versus fads, so don't waste your time on the fads. Don't worry about those Pokemon Go's, but have a look at the Instagram stories or Instagram TV. Start understanding how those tools can be can be a great way to connect with your audience. If you're unsure, you know, whether it's worth going into something like Instagram TV or stories, just ask your followers. That's the best way to, and watch your data obviously as well. So trends versus fads. I should have put a graph in there as well. Okay, so I promised to give you a quick overview of some top social media trends for 2018. So let's go. Video. Look at the stats here. You know, and we've seen it. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Vine, which is no longer around, YouTube, and we're going to see LinkedIn as well be added to how they can generate, like they're investing in video to generate engagement and build followers. So LinkedIn will definitely be one of those as well. So the stats here just say it all. By 2020, global internet traffic will be attributed to video. So is video part of your strategy? Let me know. I'd love to see your videos. I know, Nicola, you've been doing some great video stuff as well. So, yeah, it's good to see. And you've written a comment here. I'd also include terminology in the trend versus fad. Unicorn is a fad. Okay, customer engagement is trend. That's a good point. Thanks, Nicola. Okay, so 90% of content shared by users on SNS's video, social networking sites. 87% of marketers use video in their campaigns. 95% of messages will be retained by viewers, while only 10% with text. Wow, there you go. That's massive, isn't it? And I love the saying, you know, no one remembers what you said, but they remember how they feel. So making it an emotional video is the key to being remembered on video as well. Live streaming. That's what we're doing, live streaming. You know, we're seeing live streaming. Look, it started in 2011, and it's just got bigger and bigger and bigger. We've seen Snapchat do it, Facebook obviously, and YouTube has live streaming as well. Oh, Musical.ly, my daughter loved Musical.ly. That is a fad for sure. But again, we're going to see, I'm pretty sure we're going to see LinkedIn do that as well. We've also got Instagram that has started the live streaming as well. So feeling comfortable in front of the camera to chat to your audience, but being prepared is really essential to live streaming, and understanding your audience again. Yeah. All right. Some more stats on live streaming. Look at this. The Facebook Live videos are watched 3 times longer than regular ones. So a little point there is Facebook Live videos, 11 minutes seems to be the sweet spot. So if you're on Facebook Live, aim for that 11 minutes and see how that compares with your other live videos, and if you get more engagement or, you know, more views later on. Ephemeral means short-lived. I should have practiced that. Fleeting or passing, and describes the nature of the media accessible up to 24 hours on social networks. Snapchat started this. Yeah. Instagram seems to do it better. I don't know. But, you know, the kids love the streaks that happen with Snapchat because of that. So, yeah, but they still use Instagram. So Instagram stories are great. It shows the behind the scenes content that all our customers love. Like, they want to feel like they're special, that they get access to information and, you know, and what's going on that not everyone has access to. So ensuring you use these, creating stories. Just be aware if you do start using Instagram stories. I'm not very good at it, I don't think. I'm trying to get better. But to actually create a story. So don't just put up one post of something and not tell people where it was or what was going on. If you do put up a post where you haven't, like you just shared it, create another post with the details. So, I mean, it could be as simple as, where are we? Before, just a story, before, middle, and end in your story, and create 3 posts. So, yeah, they're called Instagram stories for a reason. So, all right, augmented reality. Oh, I love this stuff. Although I get a bit dizzy when I'm using those glasses, the VR glasses. But it's definitely something that we need to be watching. I know that my partner Stephen is working on a project, and they're going to be creating a 3D model of a project for Newtown Square. So, just things like that is just where you can actually go in and walk in to the model. So augmented reality has spaces in lots of different industries. I know that our kids who are gamers are going to excel. Like, there's going to be so many career opportunities moving down this track. So, if you're a parent and you're worried about your child gaming, just, be aware that there will be benefits to that in down the track for them as well. What have we got? Facebook's camera effects platform is designed for AR hardware. Snapchat had the glasses. Yeah, Pokemon Go was the first location-based AR game. There you go. AI chatbots. I've actually written a lot of blogs about chatbots. Actually, what are we? Taddy. Oh, hey, Taddy. Create for Instagram stories. Create branded tags for stories. Cool. That's a really good tip. Thanks for that. Stories can be quite powerful, absolutely, to grow your audience. AI and chatbots. We all know that social media makes us closer to our customers. Chatbots and AI can make real-time engagement with your customers. The stats are phenomenal. There's 12,000 monthly active bots on Messenger. 30% of our chat conversation will be with chatbots by the end of the year. 80% of chatbots can be used effectively to provide 24/7 services. All right, so they're not the be end and all, and they do not replace a human, but they are a great way to engage and create a story. And, if you're great at storytelling or writing playwrights, think of a chatbot as a choose-your-own adventure style. There's chatbots that pretend to be, Teddy, what did you say? What can small business use for the actual tool to use to create a chatbot? I use ManyChat, but I'm pretty sure you can actually do it directly in Facebook now. They've actually created an option. The basics is where it's set up to give them an option. If you can say that you're not available, and you give them an option to find some information. So that's the basic chatbot a small business can use, so that, if you do get a message to your Facebook page, that it's actually replied to immediately while that person's online, and they can be shown the next piece of the puzzle that they need before they buy from you. So that can be from the basics right through to create your own adventure style scenario. There's also bots like I am subscribed to the ABC News bot. So basically it's a notification that what was the last thing I got from that one? Comes through to my messenger, and that's right, it told me that Miss Bishop is resigning. And then it gives me links to read the story if I want to, or if I'm happy just with that alert. So, you know, it can be as basic as that. No, sorry, that's not basic one, but yeah, it could, if you're a news, you know, something that is people want to know about immediately, like the news, it's a great way to engage with your audience. So chatbots, definitely worth the investment. All right, Gen Z. Generation Z is born between 95 and 2012. So my two little bubbers are in there. And they're considered the true digital natives. So the term digital natives is an academic term that has been tossed around for those who were born in, you know, with a mobile phone in their hand. The Gen Z, they're going to be challenging to engage with. But, you know, let's look at what they're using. YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat. Snapchat is dying. Look at that. Facebook, 11%. And Tumblr, Twitter, it just keeps getting worse from there. But the reason this is really important to follow is, and this is where you can get a good idea of a trend or a fad, is that if these Gen Zers, and that it'll, you know, basically teenagers, if they are adopting that that channel or that trend, it's a pretty good idea to watch what's happening. It's usually, you know, a few years later that is mainstream. So they're the ones who are picking up these technologies, sorting it out for us, and then they pick the ones they like, and that's how, and then parents work out what they're doing and understand what they're doing, and that's how the whole system evolves. So watching that Generation Z at the moment with what they're doing online is a good way to understand what's going to be trending. Influencer, increased investment in influencer marketing channel that's growing fast. This is where my research sits actually, and you know, influencers are challenging. It's challenging to ensure that you actually are connected to an influencer that will have similar values as you. And, you know, we saw last year beginning of the year, Queensland Health adopted all of these influencers, young fitness model looking influencers to promote health and fitness. But then they were also promoting alcohol and all these unhealthy lifestyle choices that contradicted what Queensland Health was trying to say. So, yeah, you need to ensure that you pick the right person, they've got the right message that is going to be congruent with your brand before you go down the influencer path. And it also can be quite expensive as well. So it's not really a small business thing that can happen. What you can do is go to events with influencers that might be there, use, you know, images and events as part of that strategy, which are more affordable than paying someone to be directly an influencer for your brand. Mobile, yeah, okay. Number of smartphone users worldwide. I mean, I think last time I heard there was 2 mobile phones for every Australian. So, yeah, look at that. In 2019, there'll be 2,659 million. All right. So that's a wrap for today. I have covered a lot of information in there, but the main point I want you to think about is always ask yourself, why am I doing this? Remember when I talked about strategy as my first tip? We looked at aims and objectives. We talked about why you're even on social media. Don't be on there just to play around. If you're, you know, value your time and understand why you're doing it, and then your customers will see why you're doing it. because it'll come out in your content. So be congruent with that. Oh, my cat just jumped on me. Be congruent with that message of why you're even on there. So, as I mentioned throughout the workshop, we do have Social Media Mastery coming up, and we've got the boot camp in October. So if you want more information about that, the Social Media Mastery is a certificate for in business, and it's contextualized to social media management. So it's specifically for managing, using social media for your small business. I see a lot of my past students in this group, so thank you for joining me. Love you guys to bits, and we also have a boot camp which will be on October 12th and 13th. So this time it's a Friday and Saturday. I usually have it, in the past I've had it during the week, but yeah, I thought it would be more fun. Friday and Saturday in Brisbane, in Spring Hill. If you want more information, please give me a buzz, pop me an email, or head to my website. So does anyone have questions? I've got question time here. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Nicole. And Nicole and Sarah. Oh, Sarah must be with you. Cool. Great to have you. And yeah, if you've got any questions, please pop them in the chat box now. I'm happy to hang around for a little bit longer. If you found this information useful, please send me or put a review on Facebook, on our Facebook page, Social Media Mastery, and pop a review on my Facebook page. I'd be really grateful. Okay, do you manage your own business social media or outsource? We do it in-house. We do everyone, and the clients that I do, we do it all in-house. So yeah, lots to take in. Yes, there is. So is Sarah. So if you want any more tips to go any deeper, we can definitely help you with that. Branded tags and Instagram stories earlier. How do you suggest we do that? Oh, that's just using the hashtag of your business. And also if you create it as a highlight. So when you do an Instagram story, you can create a highlight which will keep it for forever on your Instagram page. And if you've got your hashtag on there, it'll group it all so people can go and find all your story. It'll link your story together and build on the story. So yes, and the covers for highlights are great as well. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good, Sarah and Nicole. Yeah, definitely. So that means that later on people can just follow that hashtag and build. You can start building on that story. But the other, and using the location. So I find using hashtag Brisbane or Sunshine Coast also increases my reach as well. But don't use too many hashtags on your stories, because then it looks like it loses that little bit of authenticity that people are wanting out of the story, watching your story. And yeah. All right. Well, thank you. And if there's my email address and my cat, let's show it. This is the one that scared me before. And thank you, everyone. Oh, Cara, hey. LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn. Okay, to get that working for you. Yeah, look, LinkedIn is a challenging one from a B2B perspective. You really need to get your CEOs involved in that. So to be sharing content, and it's LinkedIn is more about that internal conversation. Like LinkedIn has really kept that business and person type of thing separate, not like Facebook where they're quite intertwined. So LinkedIn is more about that messaging side of things and people talking to people on particular topics. So using groups and things like that. So if you can get John and Jorgen to be using their groups, like different groups, maybe even setting up a group for mates. Have you done that? Specifically just for stakeholders for mates or supporters of mates on LinkedIn. That might be an idea as well. Yeah. But definitely putting some time into LinkedIn is worth it. I think LinkedIn is investing more money into it at the moment. So it is a place that is worth looking into, particularly from a B2B perspective and fundraising perspective as well. Yeah. Cool. All right, so if you want any more information on our boot camp in October or starting Social Media Mastery online, pop me an email and I can pop you some information and see if it's right for you. Otherwise, I'll be doing workshops like this all the time, so just keep your eyes out for, thanks Taddy, see ya. Keep your eyes out for emails and information. Yeah, I look forward to chatting to you soon. Thanks, everyone.